Hey everyone, Leo with Dreaming Tree, and welcome to the assembly video for our fancy cupcake or treat box. I have all of my pieces cut out here in front of me, as should you. And it's a very simple little freebie if you are throwing a birthday party, or if you just made a bunch of cupcakes and you want to give someone one of your fancy cupcakes. Got the perfect box for you here. It's very straightforward. We've got these two pieces are the main pieces here. We have panels that are going to go on top, and obviously this one is going to go here. So we're going to begin by just gluing our panels down while everything is nice and flat, and this one here goes on top. Okay, so let's do that. Now don't glue this one down because we have a little window. Well, actually, I gotta find, there it is. Just a little piece of acetate that we're gonna glue down before, I literally just clean this bottle out. There we go. There's a little sheet of acetate that we're gonna put on there so that you can see your beautiful cupcake through a cute little window. And with these here, you want to just get them nice and centered so that you have a even border all the way around. Now, once you place your first one, you can kind of use that as a guide for the rest of them here, just to make sure that they're at the same height or on the same plane, however you want to describe it. Okay. I know a lot of you love to bake sweets. I know my mom does. She focuses more on possibly because of social media. I've seen her make some really fancy macaroons with all sorts of cool little designs on them. She makes them for my nephews and nieces. And she actually just moved to Ohio to be closer to her 4 grandkids and left me by my lonesome here in Illinois, but that's okay. One day I may make my way out there as well. Okay, so we've got these 3 panels in place. We're going to grab this section here. Let's do the top one first, and then I'll show you how the acetate works. And I'm just trying to get this glue out to the very edge of each of these panels, as far as you can go. And I did also hit the edges of this beautiful pattern paper with a little bit of turquoise ink. Okay, so now I'm going to take this acetate and we're going to glue it to the front like this, and then we'll put the panel over it. So to do that, instead of globbing this with a ton of glue, I'm just going to do some subtle little dots around the perimeter. Just very subtle. Don't need them to be too big, and if you do have a big blob in one little area, maybe just dab it with your finger and get rid of it. Okay, so we're going to take our acetate and make sure you get it nice and centered so it's covering up the entire section of cutout, like so. And then we'll just top this off with this beautiful little panel here. So not much to it as far as color selection. You choose one solid color, and I mean, literally, you could have gone with, based on the colors of this pattern paper, you could have pulled a nice green, lime green out, a nice pink, even a dark green, just anything that kind of coordinates with the pattern. Now, in this case, we've got white, and that really helps this pattern paper really stand out. Okay, so we're just gluing that right on top of the acetate, and some of that will be touching the actual cardstock as well. Okay, so that's what that should look like. Halfway home here. Next, we're going to take and glue this section to this section, one side at a time. So go ahead and grab your glue and place it on this tab. And I'm going to take and spread that glue out to the very edge. Okay, and I'm going to do this flat just because it's easier. Get that nice and lined up like so. You want to kind of butt it right up to the little score mark. You don't want to go over. You want it right up against it, almost I want to try to get it like halfway onto the score mark. I know the score mark is super tiny, but pretend like you're trying to get it halfway onto the score mark. I'm folding it over onto the seam that we just joined from using the two sections here. And press that down for an extra couple seconds, make sure it holds. There we go. And now it's all one solid piece. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our glue, put it on this tab, and close this up. And we'll take and spread that glue out to the very bottom. This is a first really hot day here in Chicago. Well, I was out hunting for Cupcake for this thing. The thermometer in my car hit 95 degrees. And we're in a really bad drought too. Okay, so I just put glue on that, closed it up. I'm going to take and fold this over onto that seam that we just applied glue to. Okay, and there's our box. These two little tabs here are just kind of decorative. And then that is how we close it, like so. There's the beautiful front, the top. Now we need to put the bottom on. You're going to notice that you have two of these squares. One has a little L cut into the bottom right-hand corner. That is a liner that's going to go inside. This is the actual bottom, the one that does not have the L on it. So let's start off by putting glue on just one tab. And we're going to use that to anchor this piece in place so that the rest of it goes on smoothly. Instead of trying to glue all four tabs at the same time, we'll just do the one. So get that nice and centered onto that tab right out to the very edge. And just press that down for a few seconds, let it hold. Then we can take it, just drop it onto your table and press down from the inside. And push down on these tabs. Or just this tab, I should say. There we go. Okay, and that should look nice and crisp. I'll flip the lid out, grab our glue, and apply to the remaining three tabs. Okay, and I'm going to take that glue and spread it out to the very edge. That's how we get that nice, crisp, clean, professional look. And I'm going to flare these up a tiny bit so that as you're pressing down or bringing the lid back down, it will grab more of the surface area of those three tabs that have the glue on them. And then just run your fingers along the top, help this little lid piece make better contact with the three walls or three tabs. And continue doing that until you feel that that glue is at least 60% set. And take a look at your sides here, your edges. Make sure that everything looks nice and seamless and flush. Mine does. Okay, so let's open her up. And now you can push down on those tabs from the inside, help the rest of that get a nice grip. And then we'll put a little bit of glue just on the inside. And this is where this piece comes into play. And there we go. Press that in there. And this is our little device here that will kind of hold the cupcake in place so it doesn't slide around. I've already pre-folded everything, and you'll see these little triangular tabs. We're going to be applying glue to these tabs and just connecting them with the little neighboring walls. So we're going to slide that tab behind this little wall here, line that up, and press and hold. Give that a few seconds to set. Okay, just like that. And moving on to the next one here. So go easy on the glue. If you weren't able to advance to this next tab as quickly as I did, chances are you used too much glue. Okay, so there's the next one. Press and hold that in place. Okay, and the next one. Just a little dot of glue, and then if you need to, if you overdid it, just kind of dab it with your finger. Tuck that behind, line it up, and press and hold. And that just leaves one more little guy here. Let's get our glue on this final tab and finish this project up. Freebies are usually pretty straightforward and pretty quick. I think this will maybe take you Even with the cutting, I think the cutting took me about 6 or 7 minutes, and then the assembly, I'm guessing it's going to run at about maybe 8 minutes or so. If you really focus, it shouldn't take that long. Okay, so then we can take this, and it should fit perfectly in here. Just slide it into the bottom so that when we put our cupcake in there, this will kind of hold it. So if you don't want to use this as a cupcake box, obviously you can omit that. The cupcake's going to sit in there beautifully. You can close it up. And I'm going to go ahead and put just a few little rhinestones on the front, probably in the corners here, just to jazz it up a tad. And I've got a little bow that I created off camera, probably either hot glue. Yeah, you should probably hot glue it so it doesn't fall off. And that's it. So very simple and definitely practical, useful for a lot of different occasions, I'm sure. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please take a minute and visit our YouTube channel and hit that subscribe button. And while you're there, hit the little bell so that you get notifications anytime we release a new product, whether it be free or paid. And if you make this or anything from our Rockin' Moroccan bundle, which we just released, I would love to see it, and so would the rest of our community. So head over to your Facebook and do a search for Dreaming Tree Group, or you can type in this handy little URL that will appear at the bottom of your screen. So anyway, try not to eat the cupcake before you put it in here and give it to somebody, because then, well, unless you made like a dozen or whatnot, but either way. That being said, as always, I look forward to crafting with you again.